Oh, it's you again. Didn't see you there. Welcome back to Quarantine with Molly. Did you miss me? Rhetorical question. Oh my god, you guys, just like, stop badgering me. Like, okay, fine, you got me. So, like you can tell, it's going to be a hair video today. This is one that I just love. It is how to do a salon perfect blow dry at home. So obviously I have done a lot of blowouts in my day, and I definitely have some specific tools that I like a lot and others that like hate. So today is going to be the day that I share with you all of my secrets so that you too can have perfect salon blowouts at home. It's going to take a little bit of practice. It took me like a while, but you don't need to be as skilled as you think you do. I'm going to share with you all the tools that I use, and we'll talk a little bit about products too, but I'm going to leave those kind of open to your interpretation of what you have readily available right now. The first and most obvious tool probably is your blow dryer. Any blow dryer you have is gonna be fine, but I do want to talk a little bit about this guy, the concentrator, you know, that thing you threw away. And I'm going to tell you what it does, and you can decide if you would like to use one or not, because you can do a blowout both ways. If you do one without a concentrator, it's totally fine. Just know that the airflow is going to be coming out of a much bigger space, and it could make the hair blow around a little bit more. It's going to dry the hair faster, but it's not going to be quite as smooth. So if what you're looking for mostly is volume and you already have really straight hair, you might not care about the concentrator. But if you have really frizzy hair and you want to make sure that we're smoothing it out, then the concentrator probably a good idea. So since I have frizzy hair, so what the concentrator does is it focuses that air when it's coming out. So it's not going all over the place, and it allows you to follow your brush and get less frizz because it's smoothing that hair and directing the flow. Next up is a round brush. I like ceramic round brushes. You don't have to use a ceramic round brush, but the reason why I like them is because the heat from the blow dryer also heats up the ceramic part, and it allows your hair to get hot from both sides. Whereas there are some other brushes like boar bristle brushes that have more natural hairs that don't heat up as much as the ceramic does. So it's going to give you a softer blow dry, but it's not going to be putting as much heat on your hair. So if you have really damaged hair, you might want to go more with a boar bristle option. And also good to note, the smaller your barrel size is, the tighter your curl is going to be, and the bigger your barrel size is, the looser the curl is going to be. So if you just want a little bit of a flip at the ends, it's better to go with a larger round brush. And if you have a hard time getting any type of curl in your hair and you really want to make it stay, you might want to think about getting a little bit of a smaller round brush. This brush is optional, but I do like to use it for the rough drying part, and I'm going to show you that in this video, so don't worry. But if you don't have a flat brush, you can just use your fingers for this part too. You're also going to need a clip. The last item is also optional, but I think it can be a really huge help if you also struggle to get your hair to stay in a curl, and that is pin curl clips. If you don't have pin curl clips, you can probably just get away with some bobby pins, and it's going to be totally fine. So those are all the tools that you need, but now let's talk about products, because they can actually have a huge impact on how your blowout turns out. Today I'm going to be using this little guy. Had I known that I would have been quarantined, I probably would have taken a bigger one. We just have the travel size of the Living Proof Perfecting Spray. This is gonna help give me a little bit of that slip, but it's not gonna weigh my hair down. If you have hair that's frizzy and coarse, I definitely recommend some type of cream or serum that's gonna smooth that cuticle flat, that has some heat protection in it. And on the other side of that, if you have hair that's really, really fine and hardly ever holds a curl, I would recommend putting some type of product in your hair, whether it's a mousse or a cream, that really has a little bit of hold to it. So you can go ahead and make sure that the curls that you're forming with your brush actually stay. So now that we've talked about the products and the tools that you need, let's go ahead and get into the actual blow dry. So I'm out of the shower now. My hair is definitely air dried a little bit. Clearly I spent some time putting it on my face. I'm gonna start by applying product. You can apply product straight to your wet hair out of the shower, or you can put it on after you've gotten out and your hair has dried a little bit or is towel dried. first part of the actual blow dry is to rough dry our hair. This is a super important step and one that most people overlook, which is their biggest mistake. You want to do this because it's not only going to cut down on the amount of time it takes for you to blow dry your hair, but it's also just going to help work in that base of smoothness. For your rough dry, you're going to need a flat brush, or you can just use your fingers, and your blow dryer with or without the nozzle. Personally, I like to flip my head upside down for this because I want to promote some volume, but if you don't want volume, just keep yourself right side up. When you're rough drying, you want to pull the hair in the direction you want it to go, and in this case, I want volume and smoothness, so I'm going to brush the hair towards the top of my head and then follow it with the nozzle of the blow dryer, which is going to help smooth it. I'm also going to flip my hair to either side and do the exact same thing, making sure that I'm following right behind that brush with the nozzle of my blow dryer. And then once you're mostly dry, you can just flip your head right side up and then continue to dry the underneath until it's about 80 to 90% dry. So now we have some volume. My hair is pretty freaking dry. Like, this is probably 90% dry. There's still a couple spots that are damp, but nothing is wet. So for this part now, you're gonna need your blow dryer still, but you're also gonna need a brush and a clip. So you're gonna start by making your first section and clipping up the rest of your hair. I usually do about 4 sections going up, finishing with the mohawk in the center of my head. But if you have less hair than that, you can probably get away with less sections. If you've got really, really thick hair, you might have to do more sections. It just depends on how much your brush can handle. Place your hair on top of the brush and then follow it with the blow dryer. And once you find the end, roll it up towards your scalp and heat it up while rocking that brush back and forth so you don't leave any dents. For some sections that are more wet, you may have to do this a couple of times and switch sides that the brush is on to make sure that you're drying all of that hair. Rock it a little bit to cool it, and then you're gonna twist it off away from your face, following that curl with your finger to set it, and then you have the perfect curl. And here I'm gonna show you that one more time, just following that brush with a good amount of tension on it with the blow dryer. Twisting it off and then following with your finger. I'm going to speed things up now, but I want you to notice that as I'm getting towards the top sections of my hair, I'm directing that hair straight up for maximum volume and splitting each of the 4 sections up my head into 2 smaller sections so that I can really easily control the hair. Okay, so now it's time to talk to you about the last section. I like to split this into about 3 sections. I'm gonna do it the same blow dry technique that I've been doing for the rest of my hair, but I'm also going to clip these in place in that rolled position with these little pin curl clips. If you don't have a pin curl clip, you can still use something else like a bobby pin. Any type of small clip you have would work really well for this. So let me blow dry one section really quickly, and then I'll come back on to show you why and how I clip it. For the top mohawk, I pull the hair in every direction while I'm drying it to work in that volume and get it smooth on all sides. We have it cooling a little bit in this position, and essentially that's what we're gonna keep doing with the clips. So when you're done blow drying the section and you're positive that it's dry, carefully take it out, and we're still gonna twist the brush, right? And I'm twisting it away from my face. This section is curled, but we still want it to be a little more curlier, and I wanna promote that volume. So I'm gonna bring it up, and then I'm going to wrap it around my fingers. Like this, right down so I'm touching my scalp. And then I'm gonna take a pin curl clip, and I'm gonna put it right in there. For safety, I'm gonna put one in the other side too. This is what it should look like. Kind of like Russell Brand. The reason why I'm clipping it in place like this is because it's going to allow that curl to set and cool in that position. So it's gonna keep that height a little bit better, giving me loads of volume, and it's also gonna help that curl stick around a lot longer. You could even do this to your entire head if you really wanted to. Next section, we're gonna do the same thing. We're gonna wrap it off your head away from your face, wrap it around my fingers, put a clip in it. Don't worry if they're not completely perfect, or if something falls out, you can just add a couple more clips or bobby pins to make that stay. And you can take these out once they've cooled. So by the time I've done this last one, the back one has already cooled and it's ready to come out. And you can see how much it held that curl. And then once you're all done and you've taken out your clips, I like to just kind of run my hands at the scalp. You can see how much volume this gave me, holy cow. And there you guys have it, a perfect salon-worthy blow dry in your own home. You can see how it just makes all the ends curl away from the face, look nice and polished, while still giving you lots of volume at the top because we clipped those sections. This is also going to be the time once you're done with the blow dry to add anything else that you might want to add. So hairspray or a volumizing or texturizing spray to really give it that body. I'm going to let mine chill and sit like this because I really like how it turned out and I like how soft it feels. So I'm not going to add anything else right now, but you can add whatever you want to. Obviously, you guys, this is only one way to do a blowout. There's so many other techniques you can use and so many other tools that you can use to get different results, but this is my favorite way to blow out my hair with my favorite tools. So I hope that you all enjoyed it. I really hope that you try some of these out at home. I know it's gonna seem a little daunting at first, but I promise that once you get the hang of it, you're gonna be so thrilled and your blow dry game is gonna be at like a completely different level. I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. If there's anything else you want to see, obviously, please let me know. As always, stay healthy, stay safe, stay positive, and stay inside. Love you guys. Bye.